back, everybody. We're looking at Malachi chapter 3, verse 5 today. And I called this, I Will Bring My Judgment. So we were talking about last time about the messenger, the Malachi, the one who would come and as Elijah, who was John the Baptist, as attested to by the Gospels, by Jesus himself, that Elijah that was to come was John the Baptist, and he fulfilled that prophecy of Malachi. And and then we also talked about the offerings that were going to be given in righteousness. That would be a grain offering, not a offering, not an animal offering, not an animal sacrifice. There would be no more need for animal sacrifices ever again. Grain offering, sure, you can give, but those offerings were given because of the blessings and memorial of God. And so we do the same. We might not be burning our grain, but especially in the agrarian society, that makes complete sense. Our societies are different now. Times change, but we still give the sacrifice of praise. So now we're in verse 5, and talking about judgment. He says, "Then I will draw near in judgment." So if we, the new royal priesthood, are being sanctified in the refiner's fire now, what will happen in the future? Well, God says that he will draw near, not for salvation and not for sanctification, but for judgment. Jesus spoke several times about the day of judgment that was coming. In one sense, the day was already started. Jesus said that he had come into the world for judgment, that those who do not see may see, and those who see may become blind. He also said, "Now is the judgment of this world. Now will the ruler of this world be cast out." But Jesus also spoke of a future final day of judgment. He said that the words of Jesus would judge them. He said it will be less bearable on the day of judgment for those cities that rejected him. On the day of judgment, people will have to give an account for every word spoken. Those that believe in Jesus and his word will not come into judgment. On the terrible day of the Lord, those who die in wickedness will rise to the resurrection of judgment. Who can stand on that day? Only those that have been sanctified and are able to give the offering that is pleasing to the Lord. God says that he will stand as a witness against the evil in the court of heaven. Not only will God judge, but he is also a witness against those that are evil. He mentions several sins, all of which are offenses mentioned in the law of Moses. The list includes sorcerers, adulterers, liars, those who oppose their employees, the widows, and the orphans, those that are inhospitable to strangers, and those who do not fear him. This sounds very similar to the list we find in Revelation about those who will not have access to the new heavens and earth. There's the cowardly, the faithless, the detestable. As for murderers, the sexually immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars, their portion will be in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. That's Revelation 21. So you see, it's very interesting because like Job also talks about the witness in heaven, but he is counting on the witness to be a good witness, a positive witness for him, not a hostile witness. And so you have that idea that God is the witness, whether we like it or not. He's either going to be a witness against you or going to be a witness for you. And that depends on how you treat his son. They're really talking about Jesus, so it's really Jesus is the witness. And so Jesus will be the witness either for or against you. And so what's it going to be? How are you going to stand in the day of judgment? Are you going to have mercy, or are you going to have judgment? Because there's people that have judgment. There's people that have mercy on them. That's the question. And so Malachi, that's what Malachi is talking about here. There will be a day of judgment. Now, judgment, like I said, started when Christ came. Judgment is here. You can look at Romans chapter 1. It talks about how the wrath of God is already being poured out on the world. But it will come to its fullness at the end of time. So, and that Satan was already being cast out. And at the end of time, we see him thrown into the lake of fire. So these things have already begun, and they will be completed one day. So that's where, especially for us, say, where's the God of justice? That's dumb. That is dumb. Justice is already happening, folks. You just are too blind to see it. So come back next time, and we will look at the conclusion of our study. So I have a few closing thoughts as we finish this section of Malachi.